What up, my ninjas, and what up to Juggernaught 44? I read your comment, I answered, I read your next comment, and now I figured let me make this really clear, where I'm going with this. I know that exclusives are created to, boost sales, create awareness, and, kind of make a specific object that hot thing that everyone has to get. It gets people talking. But I know that there is a point where it just seems like it's counterproductive. Hasbro is fucking synonymous with the counterproductive version of this topic. They create exclusives that go for a lot of money that you only can find them at a place that only a good, a small portion of people get to go to or have access to or whatever. And then the figure gets to be so pricey that it never sells again. And then when it does sell, it's on the secondary market. And the money doesn't go back to Hasbro. The money actually is going into a scalper's hands, which is pretty stupid. DC had done it before with, several of their toy license. And we saw it with comics. This happened with comics. So I'm not talking about it from the perspective of someone who's just angry that they didn't get what they wanted. Because as you can see, I have a lot of exclusives. I just hate hunting for them. And even worse is I'm not going to pay that super high price for them once they hit the secondary market. It's just a too bad, so sad. But anyway, I mentioned Return of Marvel Legends. And I'm sticking by my statement. 95% of the figures that they released were not figures that we needed yet. There are other characters who they somehow glossed over or Toy Biz didn't get to make that deserved, they're more prevalent characters, more well-known characters that deserved a figure before some of the ones that we ended up getting in these 4 waves of the Return of Marvel Legends. And I mentioned a specific person in this group, this last wave, the Hitmonkey series, and that person was Hyperion. And you saw it as a call to arms. You needed to defend him because I said he's a whack character. Oh, I feel that Superman ripoffs that just kill people are lame characters because it's not more realistic that they kill people. It's just easier for you guys to live out your fantasy because there's no moral no moral compass involved. They're not a strict moral compass because it's easy to just kill the bad guy. I get it. It's super easy. And in some cases it makes sense. But Hyperion is an example of one of those characters where it's another Marvel ripoff of a DC character that's more well-loved. Now, here's the thing. Regardless of your stance on the character and what you like about him or don't like or how you feel about what I said, here is the fact. DC has Superman and Batman everywhere, right? You got play school versions of their toys. You got Imaginext versions of those toys. You got the New 52 stuff. You got them everywhere. Why would you release this figure at this time? And not to mention that the freaking Man of Steel is about to come out. And I mean, just look at this image. This is what we're going to get figures of when Man of Steel is about to drop. And you're trying to tell me that with shit like this on the shelf, look at that. And with all the other ones, but right now we're just talking about Man of Steel, right? Because this is the big thing that's riding a hype train right now. And from what I've heard, the pre-screenings have been good. But just look at the visual. That's what we have there. You tell me some kid's going to pick that shit up? If you were a giant company, how would you justify that thought process? You know what I'm saying? You got the New 52 shit. You got 2 different versions. This one is from the Mattel, and it's all right. I'm not buying it. I'm not a fan of the New 52, but still it exists. And then here you have the DC Collectibles one, which I might get because for some reason I just dig the proportions and the details better. But you look at those two, look at the craftsmanship, and then look at that. And you're going to sit there and argue with me about, Hyperion is not a whack figure. Yeah, he is. You know what I mean? Just be fair. You see, this is the part of these kind of conversations where we have to turn off the fan and just be 100% objective. I'm not even a fan of the new 52, but the construction and the design and the detail and the paintwork, it's leaps and bounds better than the new Marvel Legends. I'm sorry. The only thing that's lacking is articulation, and from what I'm seeing, you're not missing much, you know what I mean? And then just look at the design. You look at this Superman design, you know, forget that he's the most well-known character in the free world. Just look at the design. It's simple. It's just that damn simple. He is the most recognizable character in the free fucking world. And you're going to put up an obscure, wannabe, violent Superman character from Marvel, and because you think he's cool and a handful of, you know, niche people think that he's cool, that warrants us getting a figure? Come on, man. Seriously. Not to mention other characters like Cyclops here, who deserves a proper Jim Lee version, you know? Instead, we got that 3 3/4 inch version, and we got this version from Toy Biz back in the day as they were on their way out, which clearly doesn't fit the bill. That's not the Cyclops that we grew up seeing. It's not. Plain and simple, it's not. This is what we saw growing up. The figure needs to fit that mold, that kind of paint, that musculature, but somehow we managed to get Hyperion before we got a decent Cyclops. We got like 4 Wolverine figures, you know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying when I say that, you know, the exclusives and the choices being made with these figures, they need to change. Here's a custom made from a DC Universe Classics by Hunter Knight. That's the way Cyclops should be, you know? A little bit more, you know, a little bit better QC, a little bit more attention to detail and paint, darken up that blue, and that's the perfect Cyclops figure right there. But my point of the matter is Hyperion is not worth a slot in this Marvel, Legends line. He's not. He's too obscure, and considering what they're up against, no. The fans that collect Marvel Legends today versus the fans that used to collect them, they know that they're not getting the same amount of quality. They know it. A lot of them are niche fans. A lot of them pick out the character they want, or a lot of them also, which I'm starting to find out a lot by talking to people on forums and stuff, and different Facebook pages and whatnot, a lot of people are just scalping, you know, and they're selling overpriced figures to OCD collectors, and that's it. So the scalpers are making the money. Initially, the sale is being made by the scalpers because they're buying the shit from the stores, but I mean, like, some people have so many connects that, like, the stores aren't really making that kind of money. It's more of a scalper thing, you know? This person hooks up this person, and, you know, money changes hands a couple times, but the figure was only paid for retail one time. So I'm just saying that, you know, it's a poor choice, you know? And, you know, live with it. It's just one of those things. It's a very poor choice. The character is not famous enough. He's not well known enough. He's not revered enough. He's not even original enough to warrant having a figure in a line that is supposed to be picking up where a legendary line left off, you know? Finish off the entire 90s X-Men first. I mean, we're getting Jean and we're getting another Rogue. I mean, isn't it weird that we've only had 2 Rogue figures in the Marvel Legends line? And both of them are rare. Like, why can't we get one that works? Why can't we get a, what's her name? Miss Marvel in her new costume. That's relevant. You know what I'm saying? This isn't even about favoritism. It's just about common sense. And they're not showing it. So, you know, sorry. Back to what I was saying about Hyperion. In comparison to 95% of what I just pointed out, he is corny. He's a lame character when it comes to this. You can like him in the context of his own story. You can like him as a character, but his design, no. Even what you were given, the Marvel Legends version, no. It's lacking severely. The freaking awareness of the character, lacking seriously, which is why you hadn't seen a figure of him till now anyway. So, you know, they can do better. That's just my point, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, as usual, get at me in the comments. I'm not trying to trash any specific people. I'm just saying that the character itself is just, no, it's not worth, that's not where we needed to go with this. No, it's not. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace outside.